It's 6:40 on a Tuesday. You're standing in line at a gas station, a $5 bill folded in your hand, an energy drink in the other. The cashier doesn't even look up before sliding a scratch ticket across the counter. $5, gone before you've thought about it. Nobody thinks about it. That's the whole point of $5. It's small enough to disappear without leaving a mark. You scratch the ticket in the parking lot with a quarter from the cup holder. Nothing. You knew it would be nothing. It joins 3 others on the passenger seat from earlier this week. By tomorrow, you won't remember this happened. Now hold that $5 in your mind, because this is a story about that exact same $5 spent or not spent every single day for 40 years. And about the 2 completely different people it quietly decides you'll become. Same counter, same cashier. Next evening. This time, you walk past the ticket rack. You get back in the car and open an app you downloaded last night. $5 into an index fund. The entire market. One tap. No research required. The balance on the screen reads $5. It looks like a joke, like a kid's piggy bank pretending to be a bank account. There's no scratching, no reveal, no small thrill of maybe. Just $5 sitting in a fund that owns a fraction of nearly every major company on the planet. You do it again tomorrow, and the day after. You automate it, so you never have to feel yourself making the choice. The money leaves before it has a chance to become a snack, a ticket, a why not. $152 a month, quietly gone. You barely notice. That was always true about the $5. It was always going to disappear. The only real decision was where. The balance reads $1,900. You put in $1,825. The market added the other $75 while you weren't watching. $75? Almost insulting how small that is. You mention it once, at lunch. A coworker asks what you've made this year. He laughs, not unkindly, just honestly. $75? I spend that by Thursday. He's right. Lunch out daily. A drink after work. A ticket when the jackpot's big enough to talk about. $5 a day, more or less, scattered across 100 tiny pleasures he won't remember by December. You don't argue. You just close your laptop. The difference between the 2 of you this year is $75, and a habit nobody can actually see. The $75 was never the point. The habit was. $11,000 in the account. You put in about $9,000 of it. Do the math and it lines up exactly. Every coffee, every energy drink, every impulse buy at every register you've stood at since you were 25. Except instead of sitting in a landfill, it's sitting in an account with your name on it. That same month, a friend sends a screenshot. Some coin, up 400% in a week. He's put in $2,000 and wants you in. Your boring fund makes in a year what this makes before lunch, he says. He's right about the speed. He's wrong about the direction. You've seen this shape before, on a counter, under a coin, in a parking lot. The promise that small becomes large instantly, with nothing in between. Where you grew up, that promise has a name. It's called a scratch ticket. You pass. He laughs it off and buys more. 3 months later, the coin is down 90% and he's stopped bringing it up. You keep doing the single most boring thing a person can do with money. Early to bed, slow to rich. $27,800. You've contributed $18,000. The market handed you almost $10,000 for the crime of doing nothing. Then the year turns ugly. The headlines start using the word crash. Your balance drops by 1/3 in a few weeks, more than you made all year at your job. Your crypto friend tells you he saw it coming, that he sold at the top, that he's safe in cash now. You don't sell. It's quieter than a decision, actually. You just stop opening the app. You let the number fall. You let the $152 keep leaving every month, buying the same fund while it's on sale. Not brave. Just bored enough to do nothing, which turns out to be the rarest skill in personal finance. By the time everyone agrees it's safe to come back in, your boring habit already bought the bottom nobody could see coming. $52,600. You've put in $27,000. For the first time, the account holds more money than you ever fed it. Read that twice. It's the moment the whole thing flips. Up until now, you were pushing a rock up a hill, $5 at a time. The hill barely moved. Now, the rock is rolling on its own. Your only job is to stay out of its way. A coworker gets laid off that spring. No cushion behind him. Nothing between him and the next missed paycheck. You have a number you've never touched, sitting quietly in the background. For the first time, you understand the $5 was never just about some far-off retirement. It was a wall between you and the version of a bad year that ends in panic. You don't mention it. You buy him lunch, $89,000. You've contributed $36,000 across 2 decades, $5 at a time, and the account has more than doubled it on its own. Something strange starts happening. What the market hands you in a single year is starting to rival what you actually put in. The account has taken on a second job you never assigned it. At a reunion that summer, someone shows up in a car worth more than you make in a year. Someone else won't stop talking about a watch. You're driving the same paid-off car you've had for 8 years, the one that owes you nothing. Your old coworker's there too. The one who laughed at your $75, still buys lunch out, still buys the ticket. He asks, half joking, if you ever did anything with that little app. You tell him you stuck with it. He asks how much is in there now. You tell him. The table goes quiet in a way you didn't ask for. You change the subject. The $5 was never loud. That was never the point. $144,000. Contributions. About $45,000. The account has tripled what you gave it without asking permission. The headlines read differently to you now. Stories about how almost nobody your age has anything saved, how retirement is slipping out of reach for ordinary people. You are an ordinary person. Same job, same salary range, same rent, same traffic as everyone in that headline. The only difference, you quietly refused a scratch ticket and a cold can for 25 years and routed the difference into the single most unremarkable fund that exists. Your friends talk about retirement like a cliff they're being marched toward. You talk about it like weather, something that arrives whether you worry about it or not. You don't say that part out loud. By now you understand. The number is loudest when it stays completely silent. $226,000. Total contributed. About $55,000. Small enough, spread out enough to lose behind a couch cushion. The other $171,000 was never yours to earn. That was just time, given room to work. This is the year the math flips for good. In a strong year, the account now grows more on its own than you could add by hand, even if you doubled your contributions. You've become a passenger in your own balance. The thing you built is now bigger than the building of it. You don't mention the number, not to your kids, not to coworkers, not to the friend who once called you a coward for not chasing a coin. It lives somewhere nobody looks, which is exactly where it grew. $531,000. Sit with this breakdown because it's the entire story told in 3 numbers. Of that $500,000, the amount you actually put in, $5 a day, for 40 years, is $73,000. The other $458,000 is growth. Money you never earned an hour for. Never felt leave. Never watched arrive. You didn't get lucky. You didn't pick a winner. You didn't time anything. You skipped a scratch ticket and a cold can roughly 14,600 times and let the smallest possible amount sit in the most boring possible place for the longest possible time. That's the entire mechanism. There's no second secret, no faster version where someone hands you the $458,000 sooner. The slowness was the price, and almost nobody is willing to pay in a currency that takes 40 years to clear. Your old coworker retires the same year. Same job the whole way through. Never missed a shift. He spent his $5 a day on things he enjoyed in the moment and can't name anymore. Over 40 years, his version of the $5 also added up to exactly $73,000. The same money. He drank it, scratched it, ate it, left it on a passenger seat. You both stood at the same counter, holding the same $5 bill on the same evenings for 40 years. He has a lifetime of small pleasures and a pension. You have those same small pleasures, mostly, and $500,000 standing quietly behind your life like a second income that's been working the entire time. Nobody can point to the exact day the two of you split apart. There wasn't one. There were just two answers to the same tiny question, asked again every evening until the answers stopped being choices and became two different lives. Somewhere right now, it's 6:40 in the evening. Someone is standing at a counter with a $5 bill in their hand, the energy drink. The ticket slid over without a glance. They'll scratch it in a parking lot with a coin from the cup holder, and it will be nothing, and they'll already know it was going to be nothing. They're not doing anything wrong. $5 is nothing. That's always been the trap and the door at the same time. It's too small to matter, which is exactly why almost nobody keeps it, and exactly why it quietly decides everything for the few who do. You were never going to feel that $5 either way. You only ever got to choose what it was quietly turning you into.